Wrong one. Oh, it's football time. That was so much football just from Thursday to now. I mean, it's actually going to be
Absolutely
kind of nice.
exhausted.
I'm exhausted. It was just a lot of fucking football.
Yeah, I didn't really prepare myself for it. Like I thought I was, and then God, by Sunday I was tired. I was peeling my eyes open.
Yeah, it's like that Shaquille O'Neal meme that's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, football. I wasn't aware of your game." Like I wasn't aware. Like I didn't know what Black Friday football would do to me. Like just having the one day off would be nice. But Thanksgiving plus just family. Ugh. Anyway,
A lot.
there's only more coming up. So let's briefly maybe run down the briefly run down the Thursday games, and then we'll get into Sunday's action, and then we can start looking ahead a little bit. First game, Packers Lions. All right, you are a pretty anti Jordan Love guy. Have you changed your stance?
Oh, a little bit. I mean, how can you not? Like, he started off like completing 50% of his passes, and all of a sudden, God wants to look like a top 15 quarterback. It's like pissing me off.
Yeah, it's pretty douchey of him.
Because usually what happens is like what happened in his first half will happen to a rookie, and like they just need time. But for him, like he's been a backup now for 3 years. So it's like you think he would have figured it out. And I guess sometimes it takes in-game experience, but still, man, like I don't know, like when Mahomes was a backup and he came, like he was just ready to go. Not comparing them, but like usually if people are in a backup role for so long, like Geno Smith, like they come in and they're ready to go. But like him, it's like he had 4 years. He came in, it looked so bad. Like LaFleur came out in a press conference and said our offense is limited because of him. And now he's all of a sudden just something clicked. Like, I mean, it's football, weird shit happens, but yeah, it's pissing me off.
Yeah, it's pissing me off too. Like, should I drop Christian Watson in fantasy or no? Is he going to be awesome all of a sudden? The narrative's also going like, oh, the Packers, he just needed time to get with his young receivers. Most of these guys, they come into the league and they've got a veteran weapon like an Adam Thielen. But this guy, it's just a bunch of rookies, so it only makes sense. Well, I don't really know what to think of him. He's entering Justin Fields territory for me, where it's like objectively not a franchise guy, but in this economy, frisky. And you don't want him motivated and in a good situation. So, I mean, it really comes down to the quarterback economy. Is that just an all time? We're in the Great Recession.
And we are. And them being 5-6 too is wild. Like
it's coming.
Dude, the Vikings they're in the playoff hunt. They're in the hunt.
They're climbing in the hunt, dude. I kind of think
no, they're not climbing. They're in the hunt. I haven't really looked at what's coming up for them, but Chiefs, Giants, Bucks, Panthers, Vikings, Bears. Those are like, that's not bad at all. And let's see what he does versus the Chiefs. This is the ultimate test. Sunday Night Football 2, primetime TV. Are you for real? That question will be answered, I think, pretty quickly. Going up against Spagnuolo, I don't know, man. He might get put in his place.
Dude, it is in Lambeau. KC is -6.5 in that game. I'm pretty sure it was 7.5 yesterday, and I was just staring at it, and I couldn't tell, is that too high or is that not enough? It is in Lambeau. I still don't trust this Chiefs team. I guess okay. We'll back to recapping. Okay, then let's talk about the Lions side of it. So the Lions defense is just not good. I think like we all got to just accept that their defense is not good. but maybe they could, but they still have guys that can make some plays. So their offense, they're just going to have to win with their offense. We thought maybe they were like an all around, well rounded team with like A+ offense and B+ defense. Now it's like, got probably a C defense, maybe C-, and an A offense.
Well, their defense started off pretty decent, and then they had like 2 runs like of giving up 15 or less points like in the middle of the season, and then it's just imploded. Like I remember at the beginning of the season, people being like, "Oh, they brought a new defensive coordinator. Things have changed." Like I think honestly, at the beginning, it was them playing unorganized offense and them playing inspired football, and that can only last so long, which has been very evident. And dude, I don't think they can win a road game in the playoffs in the NFC.
No, and Goff, unfortunately, has just burned all our MVP tickets to the ground. It's unfortunate.
Yeah,
He cannot recover because it's back-to-back weeks of prime time. Like this was an island prime time, and everyone saw him Goff it away. And like he
everyone.
ultimately played, I mean, the yardage in this game was a little closer than you'd think, but that's also like they were chugging away, trying to come back. And it's like to barely beat the Bears. And then now this happens to the Packers. I mean, it just goes to show you like the order of games completely fucks with us. Like, I remember there was a world where I bet on the Packers. I think their Packers were +3 at home in Lambeau versus the Lions. And I was like, the Pack getting 3? I know the Lions are good, but like, come on, it's Lambeau.
Yeah.
And then they just boat raced them. And it's like now, if after this boat racing the other way, now I'm like, that's probably I'd probably take the Packers again. It's all so confusing.
Yeah, I mean that's why no one is above 55%, right? Like weird stuff happens, and I feel like I say this every year, or maybe not every year, maybe every other year. But this is the weirdest NFL season I've experienced in a long time. The most like disruption, I don't know if that's the right word, or like I mean, just the quarterbacks going down is insane. And you just don't we're a lot of times acting like we know what we're talking about with a quarterback that's just coming in for their first game. And
Yeah.
even with that too, it's like their first 4 games are gonna be all over the place, as you've seen with Jordan Love, even over a season. Like a quarterback's first 4 starts in the NFL are not gonna be consistent at all. They're gonna have one game with a 120 passer rating, they're gonna have one game with a 40 passer rating and 4 picks. Like, and that also goes for like veteran. Like, look at Dobbs. Oh my god, like that. The best analogy I heard for that one was like he literally just pulled a Jeremy Lin. I think I sent that to you. Just Dobbs' insanity over 3 games, and now he actually has to learn a playbook, and people can plan against him, and it's just over. But I don't. The Lions they're in trouble. They're in trouble.
They're in trouble.
I don't think it's the time of the year where you can fix your defense. That usually happens at the beginning of the year, and you get like a new D coordinator or something. It's not like now you can be like, all right, let's turn this over. Like the trade deadline's gone. Like this is your roster. This is your coach. You're also 8-3. You're not gonna like let your coach go like at this point. So I mean, seeing crazier things happen, but with that defense right now, they're not winning a road playoff game. No way.
I don't think so either. And all of a sudden, it seems to be. I kind of no longer. Well, now maybe I'm just being reactive here, but it sort of feels like if they don't figure their shit out this week, if they can't beat the Saints, then they're dead. They're not going to win. They're not winning the NFC. I mean, most of the argument for it was like hinging on them just like hosting all these games and getting to only have to play one of the Niners Eagles once. And it's like,
Yep.
bro, the Cowboys are looking like a wagon. Yeah, sorry, boys. I think that at this point, your best hope is that the offense craters and that you get to keep Ben Johnson for the next year.
Yeah.
Because this team without
it's
Ben Johnson going into next year with super high expectations coming off of this year could potentially be disaster season.
it's crazy though, because like they're 8-3.
They're 8-3. That's true. Counterpoint, they're 8-3.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Do we have to wait this out a little bit? Like, do we trust Dan Campbell to turn this defense around? I don't know. I mean, the last 4 games you're at. Yeah, the last 4 games 29, 31, 41, 26, 38. They've been trying and it's not working.
I know, and I remember I'm old enough to remember when that Seahawks the Seahawks game that was 37-31 just felt like, oh, you know, and then the Seahawks, oh, that game just got out of control. It just turned into a track meet. But it's like now it's like Seahawks offense isn't that good.
Yeah.
Dude, and this
Yeah,
game,
that
this game scares
that
this
was our
game
huge
next week
narrative.
scares me, bro. Like the Lions are
Ooh.
laying 4 on the road in the Superdome, and like the Saints just look terrible. Apparently the look ahead too was Lions -3. So basically the Lions lose and their defense looks like shit. And then it goes from 3 to 4. I think the only way I could look in this game is like team total over for the Saints. Because
Yeah,
the Lions
that I've
defense has
never
been that
been.
bad.
I can't even like BS my way into being confident about that line. That line is frightening. Like, I hate it. I hate it. The only thing is how bad Derek Carr looked, but I don't know. That is sketchy. Sketchy.
Maybe we
I
bet
don't
the
like
over in that game like right now because it's over under 46, 23. I mean, Lions are going to score 30, right?
Yeah, but can the Saints score that much?
I think first the Lions D. And if Derek Carr plays poorly to start off, then we might just get Jameis.
Ooh. Yeah, he threw more pick sixes than touchdowns yesterday or Sunday.
Derek Carr?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had a really bad pick six. Pick six.
He's back. He's back.
I know. That also will like that game, the Falcons game, like I kind of want to bet against the Falcons. I bet on the Falcons, and I keep saying I'm gonna stop betting on this stupid team. I think that was a little phony just because of the pick six, and then it was just field goal. The game was like probably should have been a little closer. I would be looking to go against the Falcons next week.
I hopped off this roller coaster of the Atlanta Falcons, and you've just been on it the whole season. It's a coin flip every week. I mean, it has to be thrilling. I was there, but it just can't be that fun.
Dude, we just have to adhere again. Another opportunity to adhere to the rule of how is this team laying 3 or more points? Yeah. We could have done it with the Patriots. How are the Patriots laying 3 on the road? This week we have the opportunity again with the Falcons. We have it. They're laying 3 at the Jets.
Oh.
And I know it's shitty. Their quarterback is absolute ass.
Doyle.
But like, come on, boys.
I mean, see, that's the thing. What I said too is like, you don't know with these. I'd rather go with the rule of a good, like bad team laying 3 on the road versus trying to figure out how a first-time quarterback's going to do in his first 4 starts. Like, look at DeVito. Like, we were saying the same thing about DeVito as we said as Boyle like 4 weeks ago.
He's elite.
And now he's good. So, like, maybe the guy gets some confidence, starts slinging the pill around. Like, I'd rather take the rule of the team laying 3 on the road that's not good versus a good defense than try to figure out who Tim Boyle is.
Okay, I know we'll get to the look ahead lines later. I'm just looking and I'm flabbergasted in so many different ways.
We can just go over like certain, like some big games maybe.
Yeah. Okay, Packers, Lions, took care of that. Cowboys continue to be bullies. My note on this game is that the Cowboys now have more 20-point victories than I think it's 5 than in the any other time in the history of their franchise, which is pretty insane because they've been a wagon. They were a wagon for so long.
Okay. I'm gonna list you off the teams they've beat.
I know. The Bill Simmons tweet, he roasted them.
Giants, Jets, Patriots, Chargers, Rams, Giants, Panthers, Commanders. There's not one good win in there.
I know.
And they lost to the Cardinals, they lost to the Niners, and they lost to the Eagles. They need to show me something.
I know.
Show me something. Coming up, they have the Seahawks, Eagles, Bills, and Dolphins, so they're gonna have to show me something.
Yep,
But it pisses me off that the Seahawks and the Eagles are at home because, like, they're not gonna get a home playoff game, or like
True.
probably not. So,
and even if they did, what would it matter? They'd lose.
yeah, it's true. But my point is, they're such a better home team. But I mean, and here's the thing too: is like when they go to the Bills, people are just gonna be like, "Oh, tough game in Buffalo." It's like, no, they need to win one. We're not gonna give them an excuse. Like at Miami, if they're real, they should win that.
Dude, that's gonna be the bully bowl.
Oh, what's that? That's gonna be the highest over under of the year.
Dude, they better win that Eagles game. They're gonna be, I'm guessing, I'm gonna boldly say that they're 3-point favorites at home.
Yeah, we'll see what they do what's this week, like 7 versus the Seahawks?
It's already ballooned to 9.5. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
It seems ridiculous.
It seems ridiculous, but both teams have a week of rest. So, I'm seeing 9. But still, I mean, the Seahawks, man.
They just lost to the Niners. Like, let's not say they should be getting 9.5.
But I dare you to bet on that. Like, it's just so scary, dude. It's scary.
It is.
I think we got to bet on the Seahawks.
We got to.
This has to end somewhere. And I mean, the Seahawks literally, like, if they don't win this, like, they're gonna miss the playoffs. So
if there's anything that will keep you up with the Cowboys is game management and good coaching and not letting them play bully ball. And Pete Carroll will not let that happen.
Yeah, you're right.
Pete Carroll's going to run the rock. He's going to keep the ball. Like he's not going to play into this Cowboys BS. Also, it takes confidence, and he has way more confidence than the Cowboys do, or like fake. He has real confidence. Like he can go in there and out coach them 100%.
I love it.
I like the Seahawks.
Okay, sick. All right, next game. Oh, Niners continue to look like maybe the best team in the NFL. Seahawks, we just talked about them. Cheeks. Okay, the Friday game, I don't really feel like you can take much away from it except for like Tua again looked kind of shitty. I don't know. Tua's been looking shitty. He's been looking shitty.
Yeah, 77 quarterback rating. Like nothing that'll like pop out you. Like, okay, but here's the thing. Like quarterback rating kind of says it all for me. Like 2 picks. But the Tua I have in my mind is the Tua that is the first 6 weeks of the season.
Yeah.
Which is spectacular. Like he peaks at the wrong time. But that Tua is ridiculously good. Like all-time good. Like all-time. 350 plus yards and 3 touchdowns every week. And like then it just regresses so much. Like he only needs to regress a little bit. Like he doesn't have to be like, find a happy medium here. Like you don't have to throw for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns, but you can't start going back to 220 yards and 2 picks. Like where is the happy medium? It doesn't make any sense to me. And God, them still winning by 20 is crazy. Like that makes me think they can win a playoff game.
Well, they also had they had the end of the half pick pick six.
Oh,
And it
yeah,
turned
okay.
into
I mean, I
the
agree.
Jets
We all
quarterback's
can like,
worse.
yeah. But even winning that game 27-13 with how bad they played is crazy.
Yeah, true.
Like that's why I think they can win a playoff game because they have that. The offense is so potent, even with throwing 2 picks, getting 34 points. Crazy. Like I know even with the defensive touchdown. And then also like with Tyreek, like you can't teach playmaking like that. Like the Chiefs stuff starting to really show without Tyreek, like having that explosive play. Like it's the plays where it's a 10-yard slant or like a mesh route, and all of a sudden he pokes one out for 45 yards. Like that is unteachable. Like yards after the catch is not teachable. And in a playoff game, that can come up so huge. Like that breaks defenses' backs. Like when he catches one, like crossing right over the middle, then just takes off. Like that's between how much their offense scores and just that, like playmaking ability from Tyreek is good enough, in my opinion, to win a playoff game, potentially too.
Yeah, I mean
And this
they're the
isn't
Cowboys
that bad.
basically.
Hmm?
They're
Oh
basically the
yeah, yeah,
Cowboys. Like they
yeah.
haven't
Just
beaten
not
a
choke
good single
artists.
good team either.
Yeah, just not choke artists, but
Just not
like their
choke
defense
artists.
isn't terrible. Like no one really talks
No.
about their defense, and like I see them rated in the top 10 on PFF
They did
overall.
lose some key defensive player, Phillips or something.
Oh yeah, that edge. Yeah.
Edge.
Um either way, I don't think their defense gets talked about, or I know it doesn't at all. And I think it's good enough to hold teams. All they have to do, like the bar is pretty low for that defense. Just
Yeah.
in terms of like, don't give up more than 20 points and we're good, which is crazy. And they fully have the ability to do that. So who knows? Like maybe Tua, turns this around. I don't know. Do you think it's like a confidence thing with him or what?
No, I just think he's not that good. And it's just like getting like further into the season.
I
Like
want him to be good
he's
though.
good. He's good, but he's just not that good.
I want him to be good though,
I
because I
know.
love our narrative about him and not Herbert.
I
That makes
know.
me happy. But he's fucking us.
He's fucking us. Yeah. I mean, Dolphins candy asses until I don't even know how to bet the game at the Commanders. That game again, I don't think you can even touch. All right, then let's talk. We already kind of talked Falcons Saints. Falcons look good coming off a bye, I guess. I mean, Ritter still had like an abominable red zone turnover, and I think another interception. So like he still is terrible, but Bijan was good, and the Saints looked like ass. Carr looked like ass. So I think this was more about
Uh,
the Saints looking like ass.
I mean, I don't know if people are still getting the whole wow, Derek Carr can really be all over the place, because it goes like this. It is just crazy. Like right when you get that inch of confidence, he'll throw a pick like that, and you're just right back to square one, because it's not like, oh, like good defensive play on that pick. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
So
And then, like, if
that's
you look at his stats, like he did the classic Carr thing where it's like, well, I mean, it's not Derek Carr's fault. He was 24 of 38 for 304 yards. And it's like he had one interception. His QBR was 25, which I think is like as low as QBR goes.
but still came out with a 77 quarterback rating.
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I don't know.
I mean, I think
Okay.
in that game, the one thing I'll say is he was like forced to throw more than 5 yards and got exposed. But yeah.
Exposed. Olave looked good. Steelers beat the Bengals. This is just another game where this has happened like 5 or 6 times this year, where if you bet the Steelers to lose the first half but win the game, which is like 8-1 every game, and they did it again. Uh, I mean, it's unfortunate, but like they're gonna be in the playoffs. It's over now. Like they're gonna make it to the playoffs. So they're 7-4, and their offense looked good. Although I'm still dubious of I'm still dubious of the offense. I'm dubious that this isn't just like a 1-game bump. Let's see him do it again next week. I already love the Cardinals next week at Pittsburgh.
I think I have to give them a compliment finally.
Yeah.
And this is it. Tomlin is such a good coach.
He's such a good coach.
It's crazy. He's never had a losing record. That was like the big thing in the offseason. But this roster's not that good. And his quarterback isn't good. And his defense started shaky. He's a fucking damn good coach. And his players want to play for him. If you saw that anonymous thing they do in The Athletic, they do like a bunch of different polls. And one of them was coach you wanted to play for the most in the NFL. And a player's vote, it was Tomlin. So that speaks volumes. Like, it's the players. So, yeah. I mean, and that was the problem in Vegas. Like, everyone hated McDaniel. Like, having your players want to genuinely play for you and not just play for money or many different reasons is so huge. And then on top of that, because there are player coaches who aren't good coaches. I think Dan Campbell has a little bit of that. But yeah, it shows. It shows. There's no complaints from players ever. Like, you never see the diva wide receivers or like, I don't know. And then like Pickens came out once and that was shut up pretty damn quick. I haven't heard anything else.
He just knows how to he's like a lion tamer with these guys. Like, he has, Deontay Johnson apparently got in a fight with Minkah Fitzpatrick like pregame, and then just like, it's all good.
Yeah. He's almost like a Dion in a way. Like, it just seems like everyone just loves the guy, wants to play for him, and he can back it up with his coaching. It's just so impressive what he's done with this roster to be 7-4, and they've been outgained every fucking game.
And TJ Watt had like 10 more sacks just every game.
Yeah. So, I mean, they have playmakers, but it's not a playoff roster, and they're 7-4.
Yeah. Crazy. And I actually think this game was probably like for once, this game probably should have been a little bit of more of a margin than even the bungle, or than it was 6 points. It should have been probably like a 10, 12 point win.
Yeah.
All right. Next game, Titans, Panthers. The Panthers are dead. And the Titans looked good at home. The King came out and kind of balled. The Panthers were just disgusting. They just can't even move the ball. Adam Thielen had like 1 catch.
I got nothing to say on that poverty ass franchise.
It's poverty stricken. My only question is like, is there going to be like a 1-game coaching bump for like the interim?
I don't think they're good enough.
No.
Would you rather have the Patriots roster or that roster?
I guess the Patriots.
It's close. And I didn't think anyone was close to the Patriots, especially on offense. But like, it's there. Like,
yeah.
Adam Thielen's your go-to guy.
Like, I guess it's better than Demario Douglas.
Yeah, it's bad. It's a poverty franchise. It's run poorly. It's in Charlotte. The whole thing needs to be blown up.
They need to be relegated.
We need some relegation. We need some rebranding. It's embarrassing for the NFL. It's a bad roster. Like, they had 1 Super Bowl back in the day, and they're just living off that. They didn't even win it,
dude. And like, yeah, the Panthers and Riverboat Ron also are just living off the Cam years.
Yeah, God, they one in like we're getting into 2-win territory, one win territory, 1-10,
and they do not own their pick.
And don't own their pick. God.
Or like 2nd round pick, which is like the most valuable pick in the league, like a super high 2nd round pick.
Oh,
like they're absolutely fucked.
Yeah. Enough.
All right. Colts move further into playoff position. Jonathan Taylor looks awesome. They beat the Bucs. Baker gets a little banged up. Minshew does Minshew stuff. Had some funny plays, but also played pretty well. Colts inching towards the playoffs, like we actually thought.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan
Yeah.
Taylor is just surprisingly has like a thumb issue, and it makes me super butthurt because I have him in fantasy football in my big league. So he's probably going to be out for a couple weeks, maybe even like the rest of the year. So that's something. But Zach Moss is pretty good.
Yeah, I think it doesn't change it a ton, but still that sucks. It's been cool to see him come back and be the same. A lot of times we see a begging for a contract extension like he had, and the player come back and not perform. Like, but Jacobs and him have, so good for them. But I think they're gonna get the 7 seed. Like, we'll see. The line again this week for them is 2.5, like it is every goddamn week. I think them being a 7 seed speaks to the quality of football being played in the NFL this year. They are not a playoff team by any means, but Gardner Minshew is middle tier this year in the NFL.
Middle tier. Wait, why did so they oh man. So they would knock they potentially would bump out the Houston Texans.
Yeah. They're going to play each
Dang.
other again in the same division, I bet.
I really hope that I love the Colts.
Ooh, they play last game of the year, so that's probably a win or go home.
I love the Colts, but just let me see the Bills or the Texans in there. Just either one. Like, just come on.
I'm
Come on.
slowly liking them less, but they are good against the spread. So
Yep, they're good against the spread. Okay. We can kind of go a little faster probably. Pats, Giants, fucking Patriots are an abomination. Yeah, that's it. DeVito, good for you. And Dayball's a good coach.
cool.
Jaguars, Texans, fucking bullshit ass game. Bullshit ass game. Trevor Lawrence continues to be terrible in the red zone. Got bailed out a million different times.
Does
Yeah,
the NFL like the Jags?
dude, I don't know. So I had a theory because I was seeing way more holding and pass interference penalties than any other Sunday. And sometimes the NFL will like send out memos to try and like increase offense, especially like with the bullshit that we're going through right now and Tom Brady's comments. And I just felt like I was seeing so much defensive holding and PI just on shit that just didn't even exist, wasn't even out there. And yeah, the Jags just got ass fucked. Or I mean, the Texans got ass fucked. Also, just like the Tank Dell, they called him for the Tyreek Hill motion, which never gets called on like a 50-yarder. They called him out of bounds when he was inbounds. There's just a bunch of bullshit that all went in the Jaguars' favor. So yeah, stupid. Texans should have won that game. Makes me a little worried about betting on the Texans next week, but I think we just have to. I think we have to throw the mortgage on it.
I'm not like too worried about the Texans because they looked good still. Like with the Lions, we're seeing like regressing, but with the Texans, like they still looked really good. Just things didn't go their way, and that's what happens, and that's the danger of like being on this line of 6-5, 5-6, stuff like that. Is you're gonna have games like that where they're not winnable in a way, and your wiggle room is so small when your record is like that. And that's why like I just really think luck is a thing, because some teams like ride out that luck. Like the Eagles, like in a way, like yes, they're finishing games, but things are bouncing their way. Like, and that just seems to happen over like a few period of time as things just bounce teams' ways, and it just didn't go their way. Hopefully it doesn't continue to be like that, but your margin of error now is so small.
It's so small. And like, how about just the decision to roll out? Like, it wasn't even Fairbairn or whatever. There's their normal kicker. He was out. So they picked up Amendola, who's just a journeyman random. And like, they just let him roll out there for the 48-yarder was it 58 or no? It's
48.
Wait, it was 48? No, I think it might
so.
have been 58 actually. It was like
Then that was a boot.
Yeah, I think it was 58, and he put it right down the middle, and it just stewed off the crossbar. Went out.
Yeah.
I would have liked.
It happens.
Yeah, it
But
happens.
I don't knock them for being in this position just because of like, I mean, the rookie quarterback, brand new roster, first year head coach, like being where they are is still super impressive. I'm just saying when you're at this area, it's tough. And they're finding that out pretty quickly. Like you had your hump of like, holy shit, Stroud, but now it's like things are getting serious, and wins right now in the NFL are super hard to come by. And I think, and it's a hard week of coaching too, because that takes a lot out of you, a loss like that. And I mean, I think D'Amico Ryans knows what he's doing, but I mean, we'll see. Like, hopefully they don't come out flat the next game. But we'll see.
Yep. All right. Next game, Broncos. I keep thinking it's kind of a little bit Steelers-esque. Like you're like, we all kind of know that like the Broncos are getting lucky, and now they're like whatever plus 14 in turnover margin in the last like 5 weeks. But is it one of those things where like maybe they're not getting lucky, and maybe it's just Sean Payton is basically not letting Russ cook, so they don't turn the ball over, and so they're gonna win the turnover margin? I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard to say because they have good wins on this 5-game win streak. Like they beat the Browns, Bills, and Chiefs.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to argue. I want to lean towards the good coaching thing. Like that seems like the only logical explanation right now.
Yeah. And if this was the beginning of the season, like we'd be like, oh, what are they? The 5th best team, 6th best team?
Mm-hmm.
But
I
yeah.
don't trust them. I don't know.
I don't trust them. So they're at the Texans next week, which is
This is
just
a
a massive.
test.
This is like almost a playoff game because they're both tied at 6-5, both trying to make the playoffs. What scares me a little bit is the look ahead was Texans minus 2.5. It went to 3. Now it's up to 3.5. At 3.5, I don't like it. I liked it at 3. 3.5 is like maybe you even just tease the Broncos because it seems like they're gonna be in close games. They just don't turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, have they really? The game in Buffalo is a hostile environment. Besides that, everything's been at home.
True.
So this could be interesting for sure. I think the Bills were caught by surprise though. Like this is actually a game where it's like, okay, these two teams are both really good. Like they came out and like surprised the Bills. This one has the hype going into it, and the Texans are going to be fully ready for what they have. Versus the Bills, I think just wrote them off because that was when they were looking like shit. But it's crazy. Like this, we were talking about them losing 70-20 like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And like I said, the only explanation for that is coaching. Giving up 70 points and coming back and winning 5 games in a row, that is impressive.
Yeah. Russ really, you know what? He kind of looks like his last year in Seattle, where it was like he was good, but then everyone was just like, let Russ cook. Because it seemed like he was just being handicapped by his offense. Like they weren't, it was just like so much ball control offense. They weren't like letting him make mistakes. We all assumed, oh, that's stupid. That's just Pete Carroll being super hyper conservative. Like, what are they doing? But in reality, like that is just the best you can do with Russ right now, because or else he's going to turn the ball over a shit ton.
Yep.
Rams, Cardinals. I'm chalking this one up to more of the Rams own the Cardinals, and the Cardinals run D is ass, and Kyron Williams is back, and they just ran all over him, dominated. I kind of think I kind of like the Cardinals next week at Pittsburgh. The Rams all of a sudden look likely even to just surpass the Seahawks.
Yeah, it's interesting because we wrote them off after that, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When they lost to the Packers 20-3.
Yep.
That's when I was like, oh, but good, like again, good coaching by McVay. This year, more than any, is proving like who's a good coach and who's not with these quarterbacks.
Oh yeah. I mean, and at
It's
least like they've Stafford, like Stafford in this quarterback economy, like you're starting
yeah.
so far ahead.
Yeah, I mean his run blocking scheme is so good, and the Cardinals just had no answer for it. So that game was over before it started. I wish I knew that, or just even had a thought about that. I just kind of rode the Kyler Murray's good again train, but
Yeah.
I don't know. That was dumb. I hate it. I hated doing that.
Yeah. Just back to the like, just gotta, when it comes to the Rams in the NFC, you just gotta look at. They're playing the Niners, you bet the Niners. If they're playing the Seahawks or Cardinals, you bet the Rams.
Yep.
Okay. What is the next game after that? Chiefs Raiders. Fuck, man. This game sucked. I felt like I jinxed it because I texted you. I was like, oh, dude, we're gonna have to do an emergency Raiders or playoff bound podcast. God, they should have been up 17-0-2. What the hell? Carlson never misses field goals. It felt like the Chiefs were kind of on the ropes, and they just have so much institutional confidence. It sucks.
Against the Raiders, it's crazy. They weren't worried for a second down 14-0. I saw it in Mahomes' face. I was like, God, this game's over. And it was 14-0. I was like, he's not worried. And the one time they needed the defense to be on like what they were all year, just nothing. It was brutal. Crosby also is so injured. Like
So injured.
he was the first player of the year to be listed as doubtful and played.
Yeah.
So that sucked. Like, and they took him out at the end of the game, and he was so mad because like he plays 95% of the snaps, which no one does, and he was banged up. Like he still had a sack, but I mean, people want to say one player like that doesn't make. Yes, it does. Crosby makes that big of a difference. Like edge makes more of a difference than any other position in the NFL besides quarterback. And if he's not there, then the defense isn't there because like he lights a fire with the whole defense too. So that sucked. And Mahomes just it's weird. He plays better on the road against the AFC West. He's only lost one game in his career on the road in the AFC West. It's like it's almost like there's less pressure at home with his fans, and he just goes into these opposing stadiums and just runs them. Yeah, and that happened again.
Yeah,
but they had so many chances to cover.
It's annoying. He has like it's just the thing. Like once you win a Super Bowl or like an NBA championship, then there's just like a next level of confidence like that your team has that nobody else has. And so that it's just like the Chiefs just have that massive advantage. Like I believe like if Mahomes lost all those Super Bowls, like he'd be choking away a lot more of these games.
It's just the confidence. Like
and the Eagles seem to have it too, even though
Hurts does.
Okay. Hurts does. All right, that brings us to that game. Fucking stupid ass game. Went all the way down to Bills -2. Oh wait, or Eagles -2.5. Wait, what am I saying? Yeah, Eagles -2.5. So you would have had to lay +2.5 with the Bills at closing, and the Bills just jumped on them. Looked awesome. Everything, all the little mistakes at the beginning. Cook dropping the wide open touchdown, then Bass getting the field goal blocked. And like there was just a million things. Like if you look at any of the stats, it makes no sense at all that the Bills lost this game. They should have won this game just easily by a couple touchdowns, and instead just botched it.
I mean, I've heard it all about like from this game, like in the media, and the people aren't behind the Eagles still, which makes me a little happy, but also it's like, how can they have this good of a record and be playing as like the underdog almost, which is not good. Like them as an underdog, I think is scary. But the one dude, Hurts has a 140 passer rating when down in the fourth quarter. That is out of this world. Like he's clutch as hell. I'll give him that. Like he does not feel pressure, it seems like. I mean, 140 passer rating is like pretty much perfect. And I like knew they were going to score. And I feel like that's when you know a team is good. When you like they have the ball and they're like, okay, like once the Bills kick the field goal, is like, oh, okay, fuck. Like the Eagles are probably going to score. And when that happens, a team is pretty damn good. Unfortunately, which I hate to, but or the quarterback.
But part of that is a little bit like I think a big part of that is just the Bills factor for me. Like I thought they were going to score two, but it was more the Bills factor. Like I just knew the Bills would figure a way to just fuck themselves out of this game. Like that just is
Yeah,
what the Bills have done all year. And they have whatever the opposite of the Chiefs is. Like they have the absolute yips. Again, going into that super soft ass defense, fucking like it was just like here's a 6-yard pass to Devontae Smith. Now a 6-yard pass to AJ Brown. Like they just cruised down the field. It was so easy. Yeah, Josh,
there's got to be
Gabe
some
Davis.
questions for Sean McDermott this week. Like
Oh,
he's
I think he's
lost so many
done.
close games.
Dude, this
Like
was and I bet the Bills to win the AFC, to win the Super Bowl. I started telling myself, you know what? They're going to beat the Eagles. Then they're going to go into a bye. They're going to feel all happy, get out of the bye. I mean, that is pretty disadvantageous to have a bye this late in the season. Like, I mean, that seems kind of brutal. I still think the Bills could maybe make a run. The really unfortunate thing is now I don't think they would have gone for this, but like if they could have just held the Eagles to a field goal in OT, like a tie would be super beneficial to them because
yeah.
they lose the tiebreaker versus all these like literally every team that's like near them in the playoff contention. So the tie would have been massive. It's just it might be a little bit too much too little too late for them, unfortunately.
That feels like a loss even with a bye week that is hard to come back from.
It does. It
Josh Allen
does.
like didn't even hide emotion. The guy just looked absolutely distraught.
And he was
Like
the best player on the field the entire game.
yeah, he
Except
was
for
just
yeah.
oh, like I felt for him. Like in his face, it was all just pure emotion of just absolute sadness. And I was like, God damn, I feel for you, man. Like you put it all out there and you almost went in. And that would have, I mean, what you just said could have easily happened with a win like that, I think.
Yep. I mean,
So,
I
yeah,
I think at this point they're not going to win the tiebreaker. So, I mean, I think they might have to win out. And they
that's
go
rough.
at Chiefs, home Cowboys. I mean, it's just one game at a time. If they can beat the Chiefs, then beat the Cowboys, then they beat at Chargers, home Patriots, then out at Dolphins to finish the season.
Not
I
easy.
mean, that would get so they would need to win all 5 to get to 11 wins, and it kind of seems like they might need 11. So they could
Oof.
probably max lose one more game.
Their Super Bowl window cannot be more closed.
Oh, sorry, boys. You thought this was open 24 hours? Nah, we closed at 6, motherfucker.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
it's done.
poor guys. The Eagles. So people were like, I think I tweeted this out, and I don't remember. Maybe I talked about it on Larry's show, and I said that the look ahead was Niners -1.5, and everyone was like, "What, dude? No, no, I'm senior, blah blah blah." And then the game just opened Niners -1.5, and it's only gone towards the Niners. Oh, I guess you know what we got to talk about. Ravens Chargers. The Chargers just they're completely dead. Staley's dead. Um, this is one of those like I don't want to blame Herbert a lot, but it's like, dude, you had another game where they just gift wrapped you the ball down 3 with a chance to win after a Justin Tucker missed field goal, and you just couldn't get it done.
I'm so done with this guy.
I'm done with them.
It's not like some quarterbacks deserve what the praise he gets and don't. And some quarterbacks only have 4 wins that played well like Josh Allen and lost a game. He has chances to win and doesn't. It's on like God, maybe the coaching's not there, yada yada. Dude, people overcome bad coaching all the time. He's the problem. He's a big piece of it. And God, he just got the biggest contract ever. And what's going to happen is they're going to get a new coach, and then it's going to be like, okay, like Herbert just needs these coaches. He's going to be a top 7 quarterback this year. It's like, I haven't seen that. I don't care about stats if you can't perform in big moments, and he has not done that. And the excuse is always there, like, oh, he hasn't played in big moments because they're 8-8. they're out of the playoffs. It's over time, all of that goes away, and I just don't know how long people can ride this out. And now it's weird because no one, when he's down, wants to bash him either. Like, oh, Herbert stunk. Like you don't hear that. You just hear people stop talking about him.
Yeah. You know what? I'm looking at like to make the playoff props. I need to see where Buffalo is.
Don't get back on the wagon because there's none.
Is there no wagon to be ridden?
No, there's no wagon.
4-1 to make the playoffs right now.
Like that Chris Berman picture of the no wagons. Like there's actually not a wagon.
You know what? It probably would be better just to bet them in every game. And then once they lose, then it's over.
I don't like that.
Maybe. Falcons minus 135 to make the playoffs. I hate that. Okay, I'm gonna look at. Oh, and then Monday night, Dobbs did what he did in Arizona. He was awesome for 2 games. Then he turned into a pumpkin and started having a bunch of turnovers. Pumpkin. Oh, dude, I think we talked about it last week. The Dak Prescott gonna win MVP stuff. It's so fucked up, but he's gonna. I really think he's gonna. He's down to plus 750.
I think they play too good of teams.
Well, but the good teams they play like don't have like very good like pass Ds.
What are the odds right now?
Plus 750. Because I think they're going to beat the Eagles. It's Jalen Hurts is plus 130. We got to cross some of these people off. So Jalen Hurts is plus 130. I guess it's viable. I still think he's a little injured, and it's not like he played well at the end of that game, obviously, but like he was also pretty shitty at the beginning. He had like 50 yards at halftime. Patrick Mahomes, plus 350. Patrick Mahomes, you're crossed off this year, bro. Like if Patrick Mahomes gets it this year, then let's just not even have an award and just give it to him every year because he's having a very down season. Lamar Jackson, 4-1. I mean, they're going to maybe get the 1 seed. Lamar's that Chargers game was like the perfect representation of the Ravens. It's like either they're blowing out NFC teams or they're playing AFC teams, and they find a way to like keep them in the game. And like they'll figure out stupid ways to lose or for it to be close. And I put that on Lamar a little bit.
You know what I was thinking is like, they're the number 1 seed or probably will be, but they don't feel like it. And like as much as like when we hate the Chiefs are dominant or like are that like clear number 1 seed and just have teams like that, I think it's like better for the NFL because like you're just comparing every team to them, which I think is better. Like you have that hatred towards the dominant team, or like if you don't like Mahomes, it's like, or just like at the beginning when they're sick, it's like they're the dominant team, they're the clear number 1. It's more to talk about, and it's just provides more clarity in my head. This whole year I've been confused. About
confused.
Like the landscape of the NFL, what's going on, what teams are good, who's not. And like we're in week 13 and I still don't have a lot of those answers. And I thought for a while it would make it more fun, but it's getting a little frustrating.
Yeah. Well, one thing that could be really great though would be if the Chiefs end up with the 2 seed and then the Bills find their way back in the 7 hole. That would be awesome. Or even the Texans. I would take the Texans. Just don't give me Chiefs Colts. That's going to suck.
Yeah. We always like the last couple of years. Like I remember we had like, what was that Dolphins guy? Like Skylar Thompson or something.
Yeah.
We were just like, okay, we're never going to have a bad quarterback in the playoffs again. This year it's just inevitable. We're going to have 3.
Oh, inevitable. This economy.
Maybe 4. Like,
so
usually those are just based off an injury, but this year it's just not. It's crazy. Like Minshew is not wild to be in the playoffs this year.
So it goes Dax at plus 750, Tua plus 900. You can't give it to Tua unless they finish with the 1 seed, which they're not going to. Then it's Purdy 14-1, McCaffrey 16-1, Stroud 18-1. As much as I like Stroud, it's just that's a little ridiculous. Trevor Lawrence 30-1. Bullshit. Over my dead body. Then Josh Allen 45-1. Okay. If they win out, I could see him winning MVP. But that's the only way. That's the only way. They're not going to win out. So, I will say Purdy. I think that there's value with Purdy because if the Niners just because the Niners have two massive games left, which is this week at the Eagles, and then they have the Ravens home. So it could be the 1 seed in both conferences. If Purdy balls out in those, I think there's a strong case to be made for Purdy because it would mean that Lamar gets knocked down in the MVP race, Hurts gets knocked down, and then Hurts is going to lose to Dak also. Yeah, I think Purdy. And so my reasoning with the Purdy MVP, I was trying to think like how can I make the case? Because every time I hear somebody talk about it nationally, they're like, yeah, but or it's like, well, you could give Brock Purdy. Yeah, but it's Brock Purdy. We all know like he's not better than Mahomes. He's not better than blah, 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 blah. But if we're talking just strictly value, I think there's an argument to be made. He is literally the most valuable player in the NFL when you think he's giving you top 5 quarterback production for $800,000 a year.
Wow.
So if you just do it like that, which it's implicit in most valuable player, like value is like money. And so like if I think about it like for example, who's somebody that like wants okay, let's say Justin Jefferson got his contract and he's making like whatever $35 million a year as a wide receiver. If you were a team that was going to trade for him, would you trade more for a guy that's getting paid $45 million a year or for the guy that's on his rookie contract? Like obviously you'd pay way more to have the guy on his rookie contract. Or maybe I don't know. NBA analogy might be better. Klay Thompson right now is making, max money and he's kind of playing like ass. So like if you were to trade for like the OKC to trade for Klay Thompson, like the Warriors would almost have to like throw in a first round pick just for them to take him. But if Klay Thompson was getting paid like, the league minimum, then he actually becomes an asset and some contending team would actually want to trade something valuable for him to get him. So it's like salary does come into play when we're talking value. And I think there's an argument to be made that a lot of teams would rather have Purdy for 800,000 than Mahomes for 55 million or whatever it is. Because if you put Mahomes on the Niners, then all right, bye Bosa. Later Ayuk, you're not getting re-signed. Debo, you're gone. Like the team starts just going away. Whereas if you have Purdy for 800,000,
Yeah, it's a wild spin zone.
It's a wild spin zone.
Wow.
But that's pretty much the only way I can make the argument. Because obviously he's not as good as like Mahomes.
No. But it is based on like season play. I just wish his stats were a little better.
A tinge
in terms
better.
But like the BS stats, like just the popcorn, just like touchdowns, yards, like that's what makes it tough. But it's also a year where like maybe we shouldn't pay attention to those because Sam Howell leads the league in yards.
Yep.
So,
and it's just going to come down. So, okay, let's move on a little bit to these look ahead lines. You want to take I kind of want to have to take a pee. I kind of have to take a pee break. All right. And then let's come back and look at the look aheads. All right. Let's get into these look aheads. So obviously we're not doing our bets for the week, but let's just get a little idea. I'm trying to figure out like what should we use? How about like DraftKings or something like that? I usually go by just the ESPN, but those are kind of off sometimes. Yeah, okay. So on DraftKings, I'm seeing the line has now moved back to 8.5 for Thursday. I like the Seahawks. Do you think that you'll bet this Commanders Dolphins game? It's plus 9.5, but like Rivera, this is like the week before the bye. It kind of feels like Rivera is going to get fired. So I just don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that means. The Lions, like -4. I'm scared.
I'm scared.
Chargers -6 at Patriots.
What's up with the Browns?
What's the dude? I have no idea what's going on with the Browns. I kind of want them just to play PJ Walker. Do we think they have a chance at home? They're -3. JAGS.
They're on the road.
Oh, am I looking at? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong week. Oh, what's up with the Browns? Plus 3.5.
That's a crazy line, but
my
accurate.
My gut instinct is like take
Browns.
the Rams. Oh, you say take the Browns?
Yeah. That's my gut because they're going to stop the Rams run.
It's just DTR is so bad.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. I think the Browns need to come back and realize like they're 7-4 and play like it. That was a joke. I hated that game.
I hated it.
But I might be doing the thing where like they lost me money, so I'm gonna like get behind them again and say they do well.
Dude, Colts only -1 at Titans.
Yeah, that moved from like 2.5. I love the Colts there, but it's scary. It seems like a game will drop actually.
Dude,
because like Vrabel still wants to beat the Colts, an in-division opponent.
Yeah.
But I like Jets is my favorite player right now, which hurts me.
At +3.
Yeah.
Oh, god damn it. My book went down to +2.5.
Damn. Go the other way.
Yeah.
The Niners line's wild.
Dude, it just has to be said. It's -2.5, -120. So like it's going towards 3.
I'm seeing 3 on ESPN.
What the fuck, dude?
It's crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
They know they're gonna win.
Dude, I think that Vegas truly believes that the Cowboys are better than the Eagles.
That might be true.
Yeah, I think it might be true.
What's that look ahead next week?
Cowboys -2.5.
Oh,
what home field is now considered like 1.5. So they do think.
Damn.
What the fuck, dude?
They're 10-1.
They're 10-1. And they're clutch. They literally just beat the Chiefs and Bills and Dolphins.
This whole gauntlet we were just like prove yourself, Philly.
Who have the Niners beat? The Cowboys by a lot. Dude. It's in
No,
Philly, bro. It's gonna be raining. The Niners kicker is sketch.
that's a wild line.
The Philly gets to like tell themselves like,
I think Vegas wants everyone to be on the Niners, low key,
but then why does it keep creeping?
because it'll give people more confidence to go that way.
Just to scare them into it.
Mm-hmm. Like 76% of the tickets are on the Niners.
Oh, dude, I really I thought it was gonna be like I thought it was gonna go the other way. I thought it was gonna go all the way to Niners plus
Mm-mm.
money, and then I could get the Niners. But like I texted in like the Niners were like
Such
plus
a difficult
105.
place to go in and win.
It's extremely difficult.
That's not like an easy task by any means. Like, that line's crazy.
Dude,
They're
it's a
4.5 points better than the Eagles. That seems a little
oh,
ridiculous. It seems a little ridiculous. So, like in
it
a Super Bowl
seems
right now, it'd be Niners minus 4.5. That's wild. I just don't know about that.
that's like the most disrespectful line I've
It's
seen in a
so
long time.
the Eagles are also 7-2-2 against the spread, like, and they just slapped them in the face with that line.
Like I kind of think there's a narrative somewhat that like, well, the Niners, you know, they were without Trent Williams and Debo and I don't know. Like is this are they literally like predicting that the Niners tend to go on these late season runs? Like I don't know what to think of that line.
Does it just seem like a line that, or like seem like a game that the Niners are just going to win? Like, no, to me, it doesn't seem that clear cut.
Not at all. I mean, I
Like
will
them,
say
just look at it like the money line side, like minus 150 to win. Like, I don't have that much confidence in them to win that. Like,
no. And like the Eagles are going to keep it close, right? Like it just seems like it's such free
getting
money
to
to
three,
tease.
getting to three is crazy.
Dude, to tease the Eagles right now, like isn't that free kind of free? Like
I think if the Niners, I think if the Niners win, they win by a touchdown for some reason.
oh, like they blow them out.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like honestly the only way I can really explain this is Vegas has inside info that Jalen Hurts is a little more injured than people
We've
think.
been seeing that for like weeks though.
He
And
does look a
injuries heal
little
themselves over time.
okay. Okay, what about maybe
He had a
Lane
20-yard
Johnson
run to
suck?
win the game.
Like, is Lane Johnson out? Like, probably he's gonna be back.
It makes no goddamn sense.
I mean, there is the look ahead to Dallas, but they
Is
can't.
it more disrespect to the Eagles or respect for the Niners? Goddard's gonna play this week.
Oh, he is
Yeah.
Dallas. Goddard's gonna play.
How is this not Sunday Night Football?
I know it's really is cruel. Um,
At least it's an afternoon game though.
what? Okay, I
Because
mean,
there's only 3 afternoon games, but this is just a banger.
do you think there's like a cumulative effect of like playing all of these like super tough games in a row for the Eagles? Like, and then the Niners do have an
Game.
extra 3 days
Yeah.
off, and you can tell they've like had this game circled.
Oh, I
Like, I
didn't think
think,
about that. The extra 3 days.
yeah, extra 3 days of rest for the Niners. And if you're the Eagles, you can lose this game. Like, it's not that big of a deal to lose this game, but the Niners cannot lose this game. Like, if they lose this game, then they have 4 losses, no chance of the 1 seed. Like, all of a sudden, you know, they're the 3 seed and things start looking a little weird.
But the Eagles, like, they like almost need this for like to boost morale almost. Like, we beat the
They're,
Niners. We're them. Because they don't want to hear everyone say that like they're the second best team in the NFC now with 2 losses.
you
Because
know, it
then
would
like
be
2 losses to 3 is pretty big. And then but also their margin for error gets pretty small. Like, because if you lose the head to head and then you're only one game better. If you slip one more game, like against the Cowboys, dude, then they're both at 3 losses, and the Niners get the 1 seed. So this game's still really big for them. I don't know. I don't think affording a loss might be the wrong word. Like they have Niners Cowboys. Like they need to split that, and they don't want to have to go into the Cowboys must-win situation in Dallas. They want to take care of the game at home.
Oh, fuck. Who else did the Eagles like? Do the Eagles have any shot of losing like outside of these 2 games? Because then the gauntlet's over. Then they go at Seattle, but all of a sudden that game doesn't seem nearly as scary.
And then Cardinals, Giants.
Giants, Cardinals, Giants. Oh,
I kind of like the Eagles.
I mean, dude, I still think the Eagles are going to get the 1 seed because it feels like the Niners are going to lose to the Ravens. Like the Ravens are so good versus the NFC.
Is that in Baltimore?
No, it's home, luckily.
Is that in the next game?
No, the next game is home Seahawks.
That game is going to be weirdly hard to win.
Yeah, the Niners have a bunch of games that are going to be weirdly sketch. Like they have at Eagles, then home Seahawks, then at Cardinals. Now I think they'd win that, but like it's just the Kyler Frisky factor. Then home Ravens, that's going to be difficult. At Commanders, they should take care of business. Then home Rams to end the season. Hopefully Stafford is like out. Yeah, I mean this game is more of a must win for the Niners.
Yeah, but it's still not like a throwaway game for the Eagles.
Not at all. Hopefully the Niners really beat them up so that then they lose to the Cowboys.
Yeah. We'll see. There's some good games this week though, which makes me happy.
Yeah, this week is fire.
Like there's some great games. Monday Night Football is great.
Monday Night Football is great. You know what else I think is going to be an awesome game to bet is that we should both get on this just for the fun of it. Dude, Iowa team total over 6.5.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it's down to 0.5 on some books.
0.5
the first half.
Oh, the game?
Mm-hmm.
What?
Both halves are set at 0.5.
Oh, you're saying for the Iowa team total?
Yeah, halves are at 0.5. So like they're just having you pick which half
they're gonna score. Happens. Don't they have like a really good field goal kicker?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, on FanDuel, both halves the line is 0.5.
Jesus Christ.
Like why didn't they set them both to 3?
Oh.
Because like they are technically saying that they're gonna score a touchdown, you know? So
yeah,
it puts them in a weird situation where they can't like do 3. Because then everyone will just hit the under on both. I don't know, it's weird. But they're both at 0.5.
Maybe we just
like why not take both?
Yeah. What? Maybe take the under
know.
on both.
And they score 0.
I mean, easily.
I just think throwing up 0 points in a conference championship game would be crazy.
Yeah, shenanigans can always occur.
And that Oregon-Washington game's on Friday night.
Dude, also I've talked myself back into the dubs.
Okay, what do you think the spread is for that game?
9.
Damn.
Is Oregon that what it is? Yeah, that sounds about right. Dude, it's going to be such a shame when Florida State beats Louisville and then
they're not going
Oregon's on the outside looking in.
They're not going to.
Dude, we almost have to bet Louisville.
We are.
Or I mean, Florida State just to like hedge our enjoyment.
I don't think they make it in.
Do you think they're going to finagle it?
I think.
Oh, God.
I don't think they can do that, dude. this guy's not good at their quarterback. Like, they made this playoff committee for situations like this. And Oregon's resume gets way better with a win. And their only loss is to the team they lost to. Or the loss is a team they just beat. And like, they made the college football playoff to get rid of the BCS, which was all computer based and like wins and shit. And like for the eye test. And this is the eye test.
What are the odds to make the college football playoff right now? We got to pull that up.
I don't know. I mean, Florida State's only -2.5.
I know, but I thought the Gators had him. They had him in the first half.
And yeah, it's -2.5. No, I don't think you can do it. Like, a team literally beat the same team they lost to on the road by 3 points. Come on. Don't do it to us. But then it's like undefeated season winning the ACC. Oh, the guy went 12 for 20. The guy went 12 for 25 for 134 yards, dude. He's going to get boat raced in a playoff game. And Oregon is good enough to win a college football playoff game.
Yeah. I think they could win it all.
Yeah. They need to get in. This is such bullshit. I mean, what's going to get, like, what if Bama wins?
Whoa. Hello. What? I'm looking right now at to make the playoffs, and they're quite interesting. So Georgia's -550. Michigan is -4,000. So those are the top two in terms of making it. Oregon is -340, the third most likeliest.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they get in with a win.
And then after that, it is Florida State at -140, which I don't know how there can be 4 teams with minus, like significant minus. If one team's -340, one team's -550, one team's -4,000, and then Florida State's -140. So they're saying in that case, who would be left out? Texas, I guess?
Yeah.
So they're saying basically, the odds are basically saying if Oregon wins,
they're in.
If Oregon wins, Georgia wins, and Michigan Florida State win, and Michigan. Yeah. It's going to be Florida State, Michigan, Oregon, and Georgia. Texas? Yeah, 5th is Texas.
God, how electric would a college football playoff be with Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, and Texas?
Oh,
that's so good.
That's so good. They're not going to let us have it.
Like, that's what people want with 2 powerhouses and then 2 newbies that like are huge names. That's so good. Give us that. Give us everything.
Not to just totally jinx everything, but I kind of think there's value at the no +110 with Florida State. Because like, that's about what you're going to get for them to win, or to lose that game. And then you have to factor in the possibility of it being like a really, or of the committee just like stepping in and just keeping them out. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. I really think for them too, like, they're all the guys who benefit off the revenue of college football. And like, the dip in ratings for that game being Florida State would be huge. Versus, and you're
Georgia?
Putting in.
Wait, do you think it'd be Georgia, Florida State, or Michigan, Florida State?
They'd get the 4.
But Florida who do you think would be the who would get the 1?
Georgia.
Georgia would get the 1.
Because this would be a big win versus Bama.
That's true. So, and that game's uncompetitive.
No, it's not.
Florida State, Georgia?
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Georgia, Bama. No, yeah, that it is. That would be like -18.
But Georgia, Texas would be like Georgia -7.5. 9. Still.
Michigan, like, Oregon within a touchdown-ish of Georgia is a good game.
What do you think Michigan, Oregon is? Michigan -4.5?
3. Yeah, I probably get to like 5.
Probably, yeah, 5. Oh
But
my god.
dude, give me everything about Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Michigan. That is just like
Oh.
I couldn't ask for anything more than Georgia, Texas, like new team on the block in Texas going against Georgia. Texas has all the talent in the world. Like they have the offensive playmaking, they have big guys on defense now. Like trying to shock the world. Everyone's like, Texas is back. Are they going to get a college football? Like the storylines behind that are phenomenal. And then Michigan, Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, like that game just speaks for itself. Like all the Harbaugh stuff there, Oregon finally back, like Bo Nix, Heisman. Oh my God, that game would be so electric. Michigan, Oregon. Oh,
Okay,
give me,
so I just want to run through a few scenarios. So let's say Alabama upsets Georgia.
yeah,
Alabama's in. Alabama's in, right? They got to be.
yeah, yeah,
And is Georgia out?
yeah. I thought about this earlier when I was watching something, and it just threw my. I'm gonna try to do it again, but I just stopped thinking about it because it threw my mind into a blender.
I
Like,
think Georgia
so
has to be out if they lose.
no,
No?
no, because it's like you're losing to another college football playoff team. Like
Yeah, but they
Oregon's one
decide who
of
the
the
college
then
football playoff
Oregon's
team.
gone. Then Oregon's gone.
Like Texas could say, "Oh, well, we beat Alabama."
That's where things get hairy. It's like
I don't think you can afford to have two SEC teams in this year. I think if Alabama wins, then they're in, and
they
Georgia's
don't
out.
care about that. They don't care about that. They've done it. They'll do it again. That's not a problem they have. But the Bama winning is just it shakes up the world for obvious reasons, but it more shakes up the third and the fourth. Like, because Bama would get the 4 and Georgia would get the 3 and Michigan would get the 1. But then it's like who's 2?
Florida State.
And then, but we're talking about them like at 4.
I know, but if they win and then Georgia and Alabama have
But why does that change if so like they are undefeated and get the 4 seed and Oregon gets the 3? Why now are they getting the 2 with the same win?
because Georgia would have to be bumped down.
But Oregon would be ahead of them with the same like those games don't change. Like Oregon still beats Washington and they still beat Louisville. And in this scenario with Georgia winning, then you have Oregon at 3 and Florida State at 4. And in that scenario, it's the same thing with Georgia losing. So everything just bumps down. So then Florida State's still out.
Dude, I think unless Oregon
I think if that happens and I think it goes Michigan, the jump is like I think it goes Michigan, Oregon,
no.
Bama, Georgia.
Oregon would have to kill Washington, I feel like.
Who's your number 2? They're not going to give that to Florida State.
Because all of a sudden you can say, "Oh, well, what was your loss?" And then you say, "Oh, Oregon, they lost to a team that, you know, didn't make the college football playoff."
But like who's your number 2? It's not going to be Florida State.
I mean, that's like our rational brains talking here. Like theoretically, like Florida State, okay, let's say Travis was still the quarterback. Would Florida State be 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. And like the committee's come out and said that they're not gonna factor in the quarterback.
But then how does Oregon have a higher chance to make the playoff?
Because they think Oregon has a better chance of they're very confident that Oregon's gonna beat Washington, whereas Florida State is like a 50-50 to beat Louisville even.
It's crazy. Like, man, is this not a gimme win for Oregon?
It's
I just
not.
Penix like has the ability to throw for 400 yards. Like Washington hasn't lost anyone, and we're just like we've done it now for 10 minutes. Just W for Oregon. What if Oregon lost? I mean, then Washington's just in. That doesn't really change much. Like they're already right now. They're in.
What is the
Which
college football playoff rank order right now?
Washington's 3 now.
Dude, Washington should be higher than 3. Don't you think?
It's Georgia. No, over Georgia and Michigan.
Okay, I guess you're right.
Georgia, Michigan, Washington, then Florida State, then Oregon, then Ohio State, then Texas. Oh yeah, that's the thing about Texas is like, what if Ohio State gets in over Texas?
That would suck, but it would kind of make sense because like Ohio State lost to Michigan.
Wait, Texas is fucked. Where's there a world where Texas gets in if they just ranked Ohio State over Texas?
I almost feel like their best
Ohio State's
chance.
done playing.
Okay, I almost feel like their best chance is for Alabama to beat Georgia, because then all of a sudden that Alabama win looks fucking glorious.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong there. Yeah, because then still like that almost makes their case worse because then it's more jumbled at 3 and 4. Florida State needs to lose for a lot of people.
Dude, they need to lose. I kind of like the value on Oregon plus money not to make it. It's fucked up, but
Florida State needs to fuck off.
Florida State needs to fuck off
because that just provides so many cooler scenarios.
Better chance of winning. Who would you rather bet on the money line? Seahawks on Thursday or Washington?
Washington.
Okay.
Easily.
Damn.
I might just take them in the game.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, fuck.
Oh, this is such good college football. This is what I live for.
Right Oregon, here. Washington kind of reminds me of Niners, Eagles, because it's like this whole time, like Vegas, everybody's like, well, you know, if they played on neutral field, like the Niners would be favored. And it's like same thing with Oregon. And it's like now the moment of truth has finally come. And now it's like, shocking. Oh, fuck, there's kind of value on there's value on the Eagles. There's value on Washington. Jesus.
Oh my God. Like Washington's 12-0 and hasn't lost anyone.
No. They're Florida State. Is there any world that Washington loses and makes it in? No.
What are the Heisman odds right now?
Bo Nix is favored.
God, I said that fucking 4 weeks ago.
I know. He's like 14-1.
And I didn't hit it, so that's my fault too.
Yeah. All right. Well, why don't we end her here?
That just got me pumped.
Yeah, I'm pumped. But I'm also a little punch drunk.
Yeah.
I'm a little punch drunk. All right. And with that, I actually think I am on the Warriors again tonight. I'm on them. I'm back on them. But I'm on the Kings to win the first half.
Nice.
All right, bro.
All right.
Laters.